Metal tinsel versus mylar tinsel. The metal tinsel has weight. It's a little shinier. But being metal, it's also a little bit harder to deal with, a little bit harder to get to do what you want it to do. It's also sharp. It is, however, traditional. So that's what I'm going to use on this traditional wet fly.
What's that thread there?
This thread is actually the Danville round thread. And it is a little harder to get a smooth body with it. But the mylar, the metal tinsel won't slide on it as bad as it does on the UTC. So I'll use something that is just a little bit less convenient to keep things from going awry. First thing, the tail on this fly, the traditional tail, is golden pheasant tippets. It's not a difficult fly to tie. Some people really love using wet flies, and those that love using them will use this fly because it imitates a lot of underwater life. I'm wrapping the thread back and forth on the body because I want a non-skid material underneath there. I'm staying away from the head a little bit because I've got to put a wing and a hackle on there. Taking the metal tinsel, cutting it in an angle, so when I tie it on, I can get hold of it a little easier. Because it is slick, and if you're not careful, it will cut your thread. It is metal and it is sharp.
That's one I managed to be able to tie.
Yep.
I'm not going to try McPhail's caddis for a while.
What is this called?
This is just called a cinnamon and gold wet fly.
Okay.
So you start at the front and then,
I start at the front, go to the back, and then back to the front.
okay.
And that's just,
You forgot to go to that.
yeah, I did. We're going to stop and go back, partly because this body is just not cooperating.
I threw my scissors last night. I was so frustrated.
Yeah, you can do that.
Didn't throw them far.
This thing actually has a gold rib on it, which is why I'm going backwards instead of forward. And this is gold oval gold tinsel. It is also metal.
And then fasten everything on there.
Yeah. And you'll notice even this Danville stuff, if you leave the spool lay down, will spin like mad. I will be retaping this one for you. Okay. Biggest trick is getting it started flat. You want to pull it tight. It is metal. You're not going to hurt it. And this is a spot where if you're not careful, you can actually cut your thread. From the standpoint of Mylar, Mylar is much easier to work with. This fly, like most wet flies, has a couple of turns of hackle on it. I'm going to use some hackle pliers to help me hold this because I'm wetting my fingers and pulling this feather back as I go over. I'll come around, wet my fingers again and pull it back. Pull it back again. It only takes about 3 turns. You just want suggestion of legs there. You don't really need anything heavy. Okay, I'm just going right up to the edge of this hackle to sort of force it back a little bit. Now a lot of people would stop right there, and you can stop right there. If you're going to stop right there, use a longer hackle on the throat. But we're going to make a traditional wet fly here. I'm taking a strip off a wing from the left and a wing from the right of the bird. In this case, a turkey. Match them up and make sure they're the same widths. These are not, so I'll take a couple of strands off of this one. Okay. Take one wing, tip up, and lay it down in your hand. Take the wing from the other side, tip up so the tips match. Lay it down in your hand. And you can shape them a little bit if you want to. It's going to go back to the tail. Now, the secret of getting this to lay properly, believe it or not, is a real tight grip. You're going to hold these right down on the hook, holding the hook and the feathers, come up through with thread, and hold the thread, the hook, and everything tight, because what you want is you want that wing to collapse straight down without moving sideways in any way. And that's how to get it to lay down. It's wanting to slide a little bit.
What's the best place to go around here for your supplies?
England.
England. Yeah, thanks.
Actually, there's a fly shop down in Portland that's real good, called the Portland Fly Shop. I think that's what it's called.
I saw them online.
Yeah. I was joking, but I do get a lot of my hooks and some of my materials from England.
I understand that.
Get what you can where you can get it. If you want high quality, real good high quality mallard breast, you got to go to England.
Hunting them yourself doesn't do it, huh?
Hunting them yourself is helpful, but what you want is a bird that's 18 months to 2 years old.
Less fuzz.
Yeah. Yeah. The feathers are more mature.
Wish I'd have been tying flies when we had 40 chickens.
Yeah, except most of your chickens are useless to you. I've got chickens right now. And there you go, a traditional wet fly.
I wouldn't mind having a barred rock rooster.
I've got a barred rock Plymouth crosses.